Good morning, my friend. This is Heather Dunlop with Thriving Woman. So, what I want to discuss with you today is the past. And the key thing to know here as we talk about this is that you don't have to unravel the past to create your future. So, what do I mean by that? Well, we know that everything that has happened in our past has created these autopilot thoughts, these autopilot beliefs in our brains, right? So our subconscious mind is driving 90% of everything that we do. And we find ourselves doing things and we don't even have to think about it. And all those autopilot beliefs are created by what's happened in the past. So we did something so many times, we repeated it again and again and again that it became autopilot. So that when that situation comes up, we don't have to think about, what do I think about this? And then create an emotion and then start creating a belief that determines our decisions and our actions. So everything that is going on in our subconscious mind is on autopilot based on what's happened in the past. Now, here's the thing. To unravel those things that are on autopilot that we don't want anymore, we don't have to go all the way back there and relive it and dig deep and sit there and hang out and put a stake in the ground and camp out and put up a tent and hang out there in order to fix it. You see, what we do when we're working together is, yes, we will get there. Those things may come up. And the reason we want to allow them to come up is because they inform what created that autopilot belief. And what we're going after is that autopilot belief. So in order to remove it, we need to pull it out. You see, think of it like a tree or weeds in the garden. Let's go with weeds. You plant a beautiful garden. You plant all of the flowers and the plants and the herbs and everything you want, and you nurture those and you feed those. And what happens all the time? These weeds come up. These weeds that take over the garden and they prevent the beautiful things that you've planted from growing and being healthy and thriving. So what do? You go out there and you pull out all those weeds. And you know that you don't just snip it from what you see up from the dirt and above. You don't just go along and cut the top of those off. You know that you need to get the root of that weed and get that out of the ground. And then, sometimes apply something to the soil to prevent it from coming back. So that's what we're doing. We're going in and we're finding the root and we're pulling it out from the root so that we can get rid of that autopilot belief. Because the autopilot beliefs are what's getting in the way of you getting to where you want to go. Now, as in a garden, when you pull out those weeds, you create more space. You create clean, fresh dirt and you fertilize it and you treat it and you water those plants that are there. And then you say, okay, you know what? I found this new beautiful flower and I want to plant that where that weed used to be. So you make sure you've got all the weeds around it so they aren't coming back. You dig the hole, you plant your new plant, and you plant that seed, and you water it, and you fertilize it, and you nurture it, and you make sure there's no other weeds growing around it to prevent that new beautiful seed from growing. And what happens? You start to see the little bit of the green coming up out of the ground because you've been nurturing the new plant. That new plant is your new belief. So we've removed the old autopilot beliefs that were getting in the way. Those from the past, we took them out from the root and we planted something brand new that's going to thrive and flourish. And that's what we want to do with our mind. We want to take out those autopilot beliefs that are getting in the way, that were informed by the past, so we can create the new beliefs. And here's the thing. You don't have to unravel everything in the past and live there and camp out. Because then what happens if all you do is spend time on those and you're not planting something new? The moment you stop, those old autopilot beliefs will come back. So it's very important that when we pull out from the past, we go there, we see what it is, we find the root, we take that root, we pull it out. We don't sit there and examine the root and say, how did you come to be? Where did you come from? What happened to you? And drop it on the ground and let it take root again. No, we take it, we say, yep, you're a root. I don't want it anymore. You're going in the trash. Bye. Done with you. Now I've got this beautiful soil, this beautiful open mind, and I'm going to plant a new belief so we can thrive. So here's the thing, you get to decide what beliefs you allow to run on autopilot. Isn't that amazing? Just because something's in your mind and it's running on autopilot, it doesn't have to stay there. You don't have to allow it to continue. See, if you choose not to remove those old autopilot beliefs that are getting in the way, you're choosing to allow them to stay and get even deeper and deeper roots. Have you seen a weed in the garden that starts out a little small and you don't do anything about it and you let it go and you keep doing other things and you come back and it's like, oh, it's grown a little bit. And then you come back a little bit later and it's like, wow, it looks like a dang tree out there. This thing is taking over. That's what happens with those autopilot beliefs. The ones you don't want, if you don't remove them, they will take over and they will prevent you from creating your new beliefs that you want to thrive. So let's go in there. We don't have to unravel the past and get caught up and hung out and figure out exactly how that thought came to be. What we need to do is discover the root of that old autopilot belief you no longer want running and pull it out from the roots, and let's start planting a new one. Because once that new one gets going and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, you repeat it more than 30 times, more than 40 times. It actually takes close to 70 repetitions for that new belief to become autopilot. Let's get in there and put the new ones in there and let that thrive, because that's what we're looking for. So remember, you don't have to go in and unravel everything in the past to be able to get rid of those autopilot beliefs. So if this is resonating with you, let's have a conversation about it. Let's go deeper and let's get to let's see what we uncover. What autopilot beliefs are running in your brain that are getting in the way of where you want to go? Let's uncover those. Let's do this together. So you can comment transform in the comments below. You can send me a direct message that says transform, and let's get together and let's start rooting out some of those autopilot beliefs that we no longer want and start planting the ones that will help you thrive and get to the life you want to live. This is Heather Dunlop. Always remember, you have strength within you.